Welcome to Beyond the Bottom Line with
Anna Letitia Cook.
Good evening and welcome to Beyond the Bottom Line. Our guest tonight is Rachel Smets. She's a clarity coach, a 2-time TEDx speaker, a YouTuber, an author and an online course creator. And we're going to be talking about the transition from corporate life into a life you love and how to really turn your passion into income. So welcome to the show. It's absolutely lovely to have you back again.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm happy to be here again.
So last time that you were on the show, which I mean, it must be over 3 years ago now, you were talking.
Time goes so fast.
I know, it just whizzes by. You were talking about self-confidence and stopping comparisons with others. So do you think that the world's progressed on this? Because from what I can see, there's more and more influencers everywhere on social media, and more people seem to think that that is the criteria for living. So that inevitably leads to comparison. So do you think we're getting better or worse, or what's your opinion?
I think that's a really good question. And that comparison is something that is going to be around us. I mean, it's a topic to talk about forever. You know, I think it's definitely something, it's not just the social media, although social media influences a lot.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot of how you feel about yourself personally and a confidence thing, you know.
Yeah.
So it will always be relevant. Obviously what you said is, you know, and I did my TEDx talk about, you know, comparison a few years ago, and it's you know, social media evolves and more people are, you know, on social media, and we can't really avoid it, you know. And there's so much more, like there's not just Facebook or LinkedIn, but then there comes TikTok and comes, you know, Pinterest. I mean, there's so many things. And so, but I really think that comparison, it's definitely something that it really has a lot to do with your own confidence, because how shall I explain this? Comparison is normal, okay? It's human nature. We were born, we imitate our parents, we, you know, copy our siblings, we go to school, we get grades like, hey, how much do you have? How much do you have? Like, you know, it's human nature. Now with social media, you know, we see all these beautiful, you know, locations and businesses and relationships and holidays and all, and bodies, you know, and so it's so easy to compare ourselves. The issue comes when you compare yourself and you look at all these images and you think, wow, they have it all and I don't, and I don't feel good enough, and I can't achieve that. That's where the trap is, and that's where it can go wrong. Now, if you look at all these things and you're very aware that people always show their best. I mean, honestly, I'm you know, I'm posting all my travels around the world, but if I feel like, you know, I'm not going to curse here, but I'm not going to post a picture. You know, if you're with your PJs in the couch and you really feel lousy, you're not going to post a picture. So, and so, yeah, people show their best and they hide their mess, right? That's what happens on social media. So if you're aware of that and you don't get caught up like, ooh, you know, they have it, or even when you start a business, you know, my clients, they want to change their life, start a business. I'm like, oh, but it's already there, and and him and her, and they're already doing it. So I can't, you know, when it stops yourself, when it blocks yourself, that's where it's like, okay, stop it here. This is, you know, you have to stop it.
Yeah. And I know you work a lot with how our thoughts create our reality, which is linked to that in my mind, because you know, it's what you think, then you think that that's the real thing. So how can we use this to help ourselves to grow in confidence and to make the right choices and decisions that are better suited to ourselves and our passions rather than the negative aspect?
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting point. And I talk a lot about the mindset because I studied, because it helped me to transform my life. Going back to my upbringing, and my parents are still very logical, very rational, go from A to B, and being creative and using the mind, and thinking more positive. No, it was like, no, this is going on, and very critical and very negative. And I really learned to use my mind, and that's how I grow my confidence. Because trust me, I'm talking about me doing a TEDx talk and being on YouTube every week and inspiring people and standing on stages, but I used to have zero confidence. I have to say this. I was so shy. I never spoke up. I was afraid of what other people think of me. I was, never speaking up in class, even at work. I would, doing a presentation or doing a meeting in corporate, and people are like, oh, any questions, any thoughts? I would be in complete silence thinking, if I say something dumb, what would they say? Will they laugh at me? So I was always so, oh gosh, it took me years, but then I studied the mind, and I studied positive thinking, and I studied how your thoughts can create your reality.
Yeah.
And I'm still studying it. I'm in Bob Proctor's program. I did several courses and programs. It's because it's an ongoing thing. Let me give you a very simple example. Years ago, or imagine you're walking down the street, and across the street are two people, and they look at you and they start laughing.
Yeah.
Now, you can think, oh my gosh, they're laughing with me. They're laughing at me. I'm wearing something wrong. I'm looking awful. And you go about the rest of your day feeling awful and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm no good. I'm looking bad. And all these negative, and you go on that circle. Or you have another story in your mind, because that's what it is. It's a thought in your mind. It's a story in your mind. And you're like, oh, well, they're talking about what they did last night, and they had a really good time, and they're just having fun. And you just go about your day and just have a normal day, and you don't even second guess it. I used to be that number one story for a very long time, until I learned, wait a minute, who says? You don't know what they think, and we tend to always think. There's this quote, and I don't know who invented this quote, but it's amazing. It's like, most of the time we think, or I think what you think about me. Like, it's like, I think what they think, it's like, it's crazy when you think about it. It's like, how can I know what you think of me?
Yes.
There's no, there's no logical thing. So the story we put in your mind, that's how you feel. If you think like, oh, what's going to happen? Like, I want to start my online business, or I want to have clients, or no matter where you are at your life right now, or what you want to achieve, and you think about the worst case scenarios, it's all these scenarios, and you just feel bad. You feel negative. Yeah. So I'm always telling people, what about the best case scenario? What if you succeed? People come to me like, yeah, I want to quit my job, but I don't know what I'm going to do. And what if I fail? And what if the unknown, and the fears because of all these negative stories? And then I'm like, hold on. What if you succeed? What if everything goes well? What if you do make money? What if and then it's a different feeling. Yeah. It's amazing the power we have in our mind, and we underestimate and underutilize it. Yeah. Because it's for free. We have it. Our thoughts, it's our thing, and I understand it's a constant training, because I had to really retrain and reprogram my mind, because I came from an upbringing of very critical, very negative, and this can go better because this is wrong and that is wrong and that's not good enough. And I felt not good enough. Yeah. Until I really learned, like, I can do this. I will do this. And it really, really works.
How long would you say it takes? I mean, did it take you a long time? Did you have a penny drop and suddenly you were like, oh, wow,
It's a really nice question. I like that. There is no time. It's all about how much effort you put into it. Yeah. And I will never say that I mastered it, because every day I'm still working on my mindset. Yeah. I am every day waking up thinking, today is going to be a good day. Every day, the first thing I do when I open my eyes, today is going to be a great day, no matter how I feel, no matter how bad my night was. That's the first thing. I will every day write down my gratitudes, my affirmations, look at my goal. Like it's a daily, every day when I feel a little bit, and the more I do it, the more you do it, the better you get. Because years ago, I would still feel guilty or bad for an entire week. The more I train my mind, now I'm like, if I feel bad or negative, or I have this anxiety or like, oh, something, I immediately am aware of that. Like, wait, what's going on? What am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking about the worst case scenario. Hold on. Let me switch it. I am going to make it. I am going to do a simple example, and which a lot of people will recognize that this is really well. You know how often people say like, and I was guilty of that too, and still am sometimes. You have a lot of things to do. And then you say like, oh, I have no time. I have no time to get this done. I have no time to do, especially if you're working a job, you're starting your business, or you have kids or family. It's like, oh, I have no time. I have no time. I was so guilty about repeating that over and over. And guess what? The more you say that, the less time you have. And I didn't get anything done. So now when I'm looking at my to-do list, I still have a lot to do, and it's getting really late. It's getting dark outside. I'm like, I have all the time. I will get this done. And I just keep telling myself, I have time. I have time. My days are long and slow, and I can do this.
Yeah.
And the moment I tell myself that, it just feels lighter.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Half the pressure just disappears. Yeah.
And you actually get more done.
Yeah.
So
I need to listen to you on that. I definitely need to listen to you on that.
It works. Seriously, it works, because every time I catch myself, I have no time. Oh, hold on. My days are long and slow, and I can get this done.
Yeah. But also what you say about when you wake up and this is going to be a good day. I definitely need to start with that one. So I'm going to put that beside my bed for the morning.
That's how I started as well. I put Post-its everywhere because, in the beginning, you have to get used to it. So I wrote things down because I didn't believe in myself, and I really thought I was not good enough. So I had Post-its of, you're amazing, you're great, you're good enough. And on my mirror, on my computer, my laptop, and next to my bed again, like, oh, I'm so happy and grateful. I'm doing, amazing.
Yeah.
Little things like reminders, in your wallet, stick a Post-it like with your goal in it. If you want to achieve something, hey, I'm so happy I achieved this. I'm a success. I'm a public speaker. I'm a whatever you want to achieve.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. Brilliant. I mean, I particularly like the waking up in the morning one because if you start the day positive, everything is easier to handle. It doesn't matter what happens, how bad it gets. If you started positive, it gives you extra strength for the day. So that is brilliant. Anyway, taking this on a step further, using that to grow our confidence, to make better choices, to make decisions that are better suited to ourselves, how can we then use this new confidence and the thought management focus on what we love to help us transition from corporate? Like you say, you help people going from corporate to a life that they really love. So how can we use this confidence and thought management to do the transition, or to ease the way along the transition to what we love, to bringing our passion into it and still making money?
Yeah, great question again. Well, I mean, this is so useful because here's the thing. When you're in a job and you want to transition and start your online business or do something completely different, it's a huge decision. It's a huge step. It's a, from having a paycheck, working for a boss, a 9 to 5, asking for permission for everything, knowing exactly what you need to do, to tick the box in that performance review or, whatever. And then starting on your own, having the unknown, the insecurity, probably a lot of family and friends that don't get you, that don't understand you, crossing a lot of, wait, what are you doing? Like, my parents are great in asking me these worst case scenario questions, like, but what if you fail? And what if this? And what if, now I'm traveling the world, but what if you don't find a place to stay? What if, so they drive you crazy. And it's so easy to fall into self-doubt and fears and, and hesitation. And then maybe, what's my plan B? Maybe I should go back. Maybe I should stay. Maybe, and so having the confidence, and again, constantly reminding yourself, no, I can do this, because it takes so much effort to to reply to all these negative comments and
Yeah.
influences, and people try to keep you safe. Like, I love my parents and my friends, and they're always like, oh, but what if this, because they're scared, and
Yeah.
they mean it well, but if you listen to them too much, it limits you, and
Yeah.
it makes you doubt yourself.
Yeah.
So really having the confidence and the mindset of, okay, hold on a second. I'm going to spend less time talking to those energy vampires, because
Yeah.
they really drain you, and search for more people who motivate you, who understand you, who have been where you are.
Yeah.
That's why I love working with coaches. I'm a coach myself, but I always work with coaches because they've been where I want, where I
Yes.
want to go. And so I think it's a lot of courage and confidence, and definitely a positive mindset of, no, I can do this. Even though 10 people are telling you, oh, watch out, be careful, be safe. That reminds me, Anna, I just really kind of quickly talk about this. It's something that it's so normal for people, and for people to want to play safe.
Yeah.
That's why, so many people stay in their job, because they're like, it's safe. Although I feel miserable, it's familiar and
Yes.
it's comfortable. I know
Yeah.
exactly what to do. And at the end of the month, I get my paycheck. Is it
Yeah.
stressful? Yes. Am I burning out? Yes. But I'm just going to continue it because I know what to expect.
Yeah.
And so we're so programmed to play it safe. And it's something I learned from Bob Proctor. And he said, if our parents, when we grow up, our parents are like, watch out, be careful, cross the street, watch out, be careful, the stove, watch out, be careful, watch out, don't fall. If they would tell us, well, why don't you fall and get back up? It's okay.
Yes.
But we're so like a baby, he falls, he crawls, he tries to stand up, he tries to walk, he falls,
Yeah.
and that's great. But then as a child, you learn to play it safe,
Yeah.
be safe, don't fall, don't fall. And it's okay to fall, because if you never fall, you never learn and you never
Yeah.
grow.
Yeah.
So don't fear falling.
Yeah. So true. So true. And so somebody, because I know you specialize in helping people go from corporate, and you yourself have gone from corporate to doing something that you're passionate about. Would you give anybody steps to follow? I mean, how would you help them along the way?
Yes, that's exactly what we do. We have a roadmap, and I'm actually launching next week my new program. I have the do it yourself course, but I'm
Yeah.
actually also coaching you through it. So it is a roadmap, because it's making the decision.
Yeah.
It's figuring out, because it's easy to say, oh, turn your passion into income and do what you love. It's not just that. It's your passion, but you also need skills and
Yeah.
talents, and you need a mission. And it's really the sweet spot between those
Yes.
three. So it's really figuring out, wait a minute, what is it that you're passionate about that you
Yeah.
can make money out of?
Yes.
And it's not just, oh, take the leap and follow your heart. No, it's really figuring it out. And the good news here is that a lot of people think, oh, but I need to learn a new skill, and I need to take courses, and I need to no. And I'm like, no, come on, we've been, the people I work with are mid-career professionals. They're in their 40s. We have a lifetime of experience. We have skills. We don't need to learn. So it's really about using those strengths and skills, and then figuring out, how can I use that money with, and then taking action. And along the way, it's crossing a lot of fears, and how do you overcome those fears? And so, it's definitely a roadmap that I take you through. Yes.
It sounds amazing. So when we're doing that, and when we decide, to make that move and to go towards our own business or our own choice where we've got more passion, obviously we need to put a lot of work into it, because when you do things like that, you do. So how can we do this and still make sure that we have a better overall lifestyle, including wellness and well-being, but still get the success? Because the balance between healthy, happy, and overworked, doing too much, and then still getting success, from one to the other, it's a really difficult balance to get. So what do you think we need to take into account with that, and how can we better focus ourselves?
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. And it is really that work-life balance, I suppose. And For me, I really learned that, here's the thing. When I was working my corporate job, I hated it. I felt stressed. I
Yeah.
dreaded every single weekday. I was literally in chronic pain because of the
Yeah.
stress.
Yeah.
So I was definitely not in my place there. So when you then learn, if this is you and you want to, start your own business or find out, how you can make money, that already gave me, and I see that in my clients, you know, maybe you're working towards it, and maybe you're like, spending evenings and weekends working towards that. But that part gives so much energy.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, people don't burn out because they do too much and they're too busy. People burn out because they're doing the wrong things.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so it's really about finding what gives you energy. And that's when I say figuring out, that's what we figure out, like what gives you energy. And
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about a client that that I was talking to today, and she's, she was working a corporate job, very, very stressed. And so in the evenings and the weekends, she found herself, doing more. She's really passionate about the wine industry and getting involved in those kind of events. And so every weekend she started working at events. So she was literally working 7 days a week, but that weekend gave her so much energy to be with people that she really enjoyed. She had fascinating inspirations and, so, and she's, creating opportunities to work towards that.
Yes.
So, it's really what gives you more energy, and that is happiness, doing what you love, doing more of what you love. So obviously hand in hand with that comes self-awareness, like, oh, hold on here, I'm doing too much, I need to take a step back, or and that's with whatever you do, you always have to be very aware of, I practice a lot of mindfulness to just be aware of, hold on, where am I at right now, and just really balancing your energy.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I know when you're passionate about something, you just don't see the time and you don't get tired doing it because you love it. And as you say, it gives you the energy. So that's great. Okay, well, that's been fascinating. Do you have any final piece of wisdom or a key strategy that we can keep in mind to help us going forward?
Oh, wow, that's a great question.
Push you on the point.
Yeah. I would say life is short, right? And what drives me and what helps me the most is that I really want to live a life without regrets. And so I keep imagining myself at the end of my life and looking back upon my life. And I just want to ask whoever's watching and listening right now, like if you imagine yourself being 80 years old, let's say, and you look back upon your life, what kind of life do you want to look back upon? A life that you say like, oh, I wish I had done it. I lived a life pleasing other people and doing what everybody wanted and expected from me? Or do you want to look back upon a life saying, yes, I did what I wanted? And it takes courage. It takes confidence. Trust me, I literally transformed my life completely against what everybody else was saying. But if you take step by step, and I would say my biggest advice is go in micro steps. Literally micro step, because the biggest thing that I see that is holding people back is because where you are now and the freedom, the place where you want to go, the gap is way too big. And that's where it's like, oh, I can't get there. They can, I can't. And then you don't do anything. And then you spend your life living the way you are today and get even more stressed and burned out. So if you break that down, and that's what I love helping people with the most, it's really breaking it down to like every day a micro step. Like, who can you talk to? You want to write a book, you want to do a talk, you want to do a presentation, you want to change your life, you want to quit who can you talk to? One person, one micro action step. Who can you talk to? Who can you have a conversation with? What book can you read about? There's a zillion things you can do, but every time you take a little bit of action, you get closer to your dream. And if you do nothing, nothing will happen.
Perfect. That's brilliant. Rachel, thank you very much. That has been a wonderful talk. It's so nice to speak to you again. And I just love the ideas. Absolutely love the ideas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel Smets. You've been watching and listening to us on Beyond the Bottom Line. Do follow Rachel. I'll put all of the links on the bottom of the page.
YouTube especially.
Yep. Okay. YouTube. YouTube is priority. Right? And speak to you all or see you all again next week. Bye.
Bye.